There's a certain look in a queen's eyes when she knows the world is seeing her for the last time. In those moments, Elizabeth II chose not her most lavish treasures, but those heavy with memories, diamonds that sparkled in the Scottish autumn, rubies that glowed like embers of unspoken farewells. Every clasp, every brooch was considered down to the smallest detail, a silent conversation between her heart and history. Friends, please support us with a subscription, and we're working hard, but time is running short, and each of you matters to us. And don't forget to write your city. We're curious where our support comes from. Few understood then that they were watching the final chapter unfold, that the jewels themselves held her secret, because when a monarch says goodbye, she needs no words. The glow of a beloved piece will carry the message across centuries, long after the lights dim. Today we reveal the secret of these final mesmerizing jewels of Elizabeth II. And we'll begin where her heart always beat, in misty Scotland. October 2nd, 2021, her last visit to the Scottish Parliament. A lilac coat, pearls, and on her shoulder a flash of diamonds shaped like a thistle, Scotland's national symbol. Few remembered this brooch belonged to Queen Mary, a woman of unmatched taste. A geometric art deco stem, diamond leaves, triangular stones mimicking the flower's prickly texture. Mary wore it even on hats at Balmoral. For Elizabeth, the thistle was more than an ornament. It was a bond with the land she loved with all her heart. She wore it only in Scotland, as if saying without words, "My heart is with you." On that autumn day, when light slid across the diamond facets, the brooch seemed to glow from within. Did it carry a premonition of this final meeting? Those who could read the language of jewels saw in that radiance a quiet, dignified goodbye. But Scotland wasn't the only place for her silent confessions. At formal receptions in Buckingham Palace, another story unfolded. In the crimson flame of rubies, whose journey began a century ago. April 19th, 2018, the last Commonwealth Heads reception at Buckingham Palace. A white satin gown, diamonds, and at her neck, fire. The Greville Necklace, whose crimson rubies twisted into diamond scrolls like flowers frozen in eternal spring. Behind this piece lay a story spanning a century. Created by Boucheron in Paris around 1910, it belonged to Margaret Greville, a society belle with impeccable taste. After she passed, the Queen Mother inherited the necklace and gave it to her daughter as a wedding gift in 1947. Remarkably, the piece retained its original Edwardian shape. The romantic V-shaped silhouette with a drop pendant never underwent alterations, unlike most antique jewels. This faithfulness to tradition was so characteristic of Elizabeth herself. For decades, she wore the necklace to state banquets and formal evenings. The rubies caught light in a special way, almost alive. But that April evening in 2018, this was more than a piece of jewelry. This was a farewell, the crimson glow at her neck, the world's last glimpse. Did the Queen know? Those who understood the symbolism of her choices saw the answer in every ruby facet, but this wasn't the only maternal talisman in her final appearances. June 19th, 2021, her last visit to Royal Ascot. A blue coat, a hat, and on her shoulder a shimmering brooch curved like an Eastern pattern. The Cartier Palm Leaf Brooch, created in 1938 for the Queen Mother. Its flowing line, reminiscent of a Persian paisley, was studded with diamonds, repurposed from earlier pieces and set in platinum. But behind the European craftsmanship lay ancient roots, the form of palm ornaments from Indian Rajas. This brooch witnessed eras. It was seen during years of wartime modesty. It appeared in the famous photograph of three queens in mourning. It shone at jubilees and weddings. For Elizabeth, this was more than a jewel. It was a connection to her mother, fixed in metal and light. A silent thread between two queens. That sunny day at Ascot, the brooch choice seemed natural, but was it simply a choice, or a final declaration of love, sparkling for those who could read her messages? Maternal legacy lived in daytime pieces. But for evening appearances, there were jewels with far more dramatic fates, those that survived revolution and flight. December the 2019, the last diplomatic reception. Under palace vaults shone the Vladimir Tiara, 15 Cambridge emerald drops in diamond settings like droplets of royal green fire. Few remembered this tiara survived the Russian Revolution. Created for Grand Duchess Maria Pavlovna, it was secretly smuggled from Russia in diplomatic luggage, a story worthy of a spy novel. After years of wandering, it reached Queen Mary, who replaced the pearl drops with the family Cambridge emeralds. Elizabeth inherited it in 1953 and wore it throughout her reign. From Parisian operas to state banquets in distant lands, in a white gown beneath Buckingham Palace chandeliers, the dark green stones blazed brighter than crystal pendants. In 150 years, only 3 royal women wore it publicly, each the embodiment of strength, dignity, and dynastic continuity. Choosing it for her final tiara appearance was no accident. It was a symbol of resilience, of the royal line's unbroken continuity. Did she know that night? The emeralds stayed silent, but their glow held 1,000 memories and one royal farewell. Though not all final tiaras carried stories of escape. June 13, 2022, her last official portrait and formal jewels, just weeks after the Platinum Jubilee. Pearls, elegance, and a brooch over 160 years old, Queen Victoria's diamond bow. This piece's history began with loss. In 1858, Victoria lost her diamond bows in a family inheritance dispute. In response, she commissioned 3 new brooches, elegant diamond ribbons from largest to smallest. With loops for pendants, these brooches passed from monarch to monarch. They were seen at coronations, state openings of parliament, moments of deep national grief. For Elizabeth, the bows embodied restrained elegance, jewelry steeped in legacy. She wore them at celebrations and farewells, including Diana, Princess of Wales's funeral. Perhaps that's why in her final month she reached for it again, a jewel carrying not just brilliance, but the memory of all queens before her. Victorian heritage mattered. But there were pieces even more personal, those that spoke not of dynasty, but of one person's love. March 29, 2022, Westminster Abbey, where she was once a bride and where she received the crown. A memorial service for Prince Philip. On her chest shone a piece that spoke louder than any words. The Grimmer brooch, an abstract sunburst of textured gold with a carved ruby center, surrounded by 6 ruby buds and a scatter of diamonds, the work of master jeweler Andrew Grimmer, gifted to her by the Duke in 1966. Behind this choice lay Philip's character, his love of bold modern art in a world of royal tradition. Something refreshingly unconventional, daring, alive. That day in the Abbey, the brooch seemed to burn under soft light, as if carrying the weight of live decades and silent memories. Elizabeth wore it for jubilees, anniversaries, first appearances after Philip passed, and now a final public appearance. The brooch caught light again, perhaps carrying a silent promise of love that lasts longer than crowns, longer than life. Philip's love lived in that ruby, but there was something the Queen wore even more often, a piece that became her signature for 7 decades. June 3rd, 2022. The Platinum Jubilee, 70 years on the throne, one of her last public appearances. A Jubilee blue outfit, and at her neck, familiar radiance, 3 strands of cream pearls, 3 strands, 3 stories. The first necklace, a gift from King George V for his silver jubilee in 1935. The second, from the Emir of Qatar for her coronation in 1953. The third, commissioned by her in 1952. These pearls witnessed everything, every meeting with heads of state, every journey, every moment of her reign. They weren't simply jewelry, they were part of her. Why pearls for this historic day? Because they accompanied her on nearly every daytime appearance. A symbol of dignity, tradition, unwavering duty. But here's a poignant thought. These shimmering strands framed not just her face, they framed the final chapter of an entire era. Pearls adorned her days. And for formal evenings, there were other treasures. Tiaras created by her own wish, carrying ancient superstitions and personal meanings. June 3rd, 2019. Her last state banquet at Buckingham Palace, hosting the President of the United States, and on her head, a crown of 96 Burmese rubies blazing like drops of frozen fire. A tiara with a history born of necessity and love. In 1973, the historic ruby tiara remained with the Queen Mother. Elizabeth didn't wait. She commissioned her own from jeweler Gerard. 96 rubies, a wedding gift from the people of Burma, each stone protecting against one of 96 diseases, according to ancient beliefs. The diamonds for the setting came from a dismantled tiara from the Nizam of Hyderabad. The design, Tudor roses, symbol of English royal power. This wasn't simply magnificent jewelry. This was a personal creation made by her will, choosing sentiment over tradition. That evening in 2019, deep scarlet reflections on her hair, intricate floral motifs playing in chandelier light. No one knew then that the world was seeing her in the ruby crown for the last time, a final sparkling chapter. But not all her final pieces protected health. Some spoke of unity among nations. March 9th, 2020. Her last Commonwealth Day service at Westminster Abbey, a role she valued above many others. Near her heart shone a brooch whose history is shrouded in mystery, the Jardine Star, a Victorian masterpiece with 8 perfect diamond rays, each topped with a Calais-cut stone connected by the finest wire. Bequeathed to Elizabeth in 1981 by the mysterious Lady Jardine. Who was she? Why did she choose the Queen? These questions remain unanswered, but the brooch's symbolism was clear. Elizabeth wore it in moments of national pride and remembrance. Christmas broadcast, the Diamond Jubilee on the Thames, solemn commemorations. Why this brooch for the final Commonwealth Day? Perhaps because the 8-star rays symbolized unity. All nations joined under one crown, which she faithfully served. Today, the Jardine Star belongs to Queen Camilla, but many will always see in its brilliance the reflection of Elizabeth II's dignity. And the memory of that March day. The Commonwealth was dear to her heart, as was each of its constituent nations, especially Wales, whose symbol she chose for her last visit. October 14th, 2021, Cardiff. Opening of the Senedd, the Welsh Parliament. Her last visit to Wales, and on her shoulder bloomed diamond daffodils. A brooch crafted entirely of diamonds, depicting a bouquet of daffodils, Wales's national flower. Their petals caught light with spring freshness, though autumn stood outside. This jewel is unique among her floral brooches. First public appearance on a portrait for the Welsh Rugby Union in 2013 for the 60th anniversary of the coronation. Then it shone on a state visit to Germany at Ascot races. Some believe the brooch was a gift from the Sultan of Oman for the Diamond Jubilee, a gesture of respect now woven into history. That day in Cardiff, the daffodils shimmered under soft autumn light. Was this simply a sign of Welsh pride, or a quiet farewell from a monarch whose jewels always said what she wouldn't speak aloud? Symbols of nations lived in her brooches. But there was one piece that tied everything together, from the first days of marriage to the final evening reception, a crown where everything began and concluded. Tiara, April 2018. Her last evening reception for Commonwealth Heads of Government at Buckingham Palace. On her head shone the tiara that had been with her longer than any other. The Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. Created by Gerard in 1893, its elegant pattern of festoons and scrolls studded with diamonds resembled drops of frozen rain under light. A wedding gift to Queen Mary, later passed to her granddaughter Elizabeth for her own wedding in 1947. From that moment, it became the Queen's most beloved and most frequently worn headpiece. Why this tiara for the final formal evening? Perhaps because it was more than a crown, it was memory. A link to the first days as a young bride and ascending queen. When camera flashes illuminated the diamonds, viewers saw not just a jewel. They saw decades of history, service, quiet steadfastness. No one knew then that this sparkling crown closed the curtain on an entire era. The circle completed, from wedding gift to final radiance, from beginning to goodbye, enclosed in diamond light. When the world mourned Elizabeth II's passing in autumn 2022, few realized she'd been saying goodbye for years. Each brooch, each tiara, each strand of pearls was a page in a visual testament written in light and stone. The Scottish thistle whispered of love for misty highlands. The Greville rubies blazed with maternal memory. The palm leaf held the bond with the Queen Mother. Vladimir's emeralds spoke of resilience, Victorian bows of dynastic continuity. The Grimmer brooch carried Philip's love. Pearls embodied 7 decades of flawless duty. Burmese rubies protected and blessed. The Jardine Star united nations. Welsh daffodils honored every corner of the kingdom. And the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara closed the circle, from young bride to departing queen in one sparkling symbol. Elizabeth II created a language understood only by those who could hear the silence of jewels. She never spoke the word goodbye. She let diamonds, rubies, and emeralds say it for her. And now, as these treasures pass to a new generation, they'll forever be marked by her memory. Because true queens don't say goodbye with words. They say goodbye with radiance that outlasts centuries.